You're watching BCTV, Branford's community access station.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank. So a lot of action going on right now. Weather-wise, we're down in Stony Creek at the dock. It's August 4th. This is hurricane, which became a tropical storm, Isaias. It's a huge storm system. It's supposed to dump quite a few inches of rain on Branford. High winds, 30 to 40 miles an hour. Gusts of up to 50 miles an hour. What you're looking at right now is Stony Creek Harbor. We don't see it at the moment, but if you look out there, out towards Rogers Island, you see a bunch of whitecaps, and it's currently high tide down here. Now there isn't any flooding, at the moment, but who knows? This particular storm is just beginning. And anyway, so the purpose of the program today is during the storm, what we're doing is we're going to different parts of town to show you the impact of this tropical storm on Branford. Stony Creek, I believe the storm warnings were raised and people were told to take cover and to be sure that all objects were tied down. It's beginning to pour right now, and right now I have to get back into our cab, so stay with us. Okay, we're inside the beautiful Stony Creek summer gazebo down here as the full force of Hurricane Isaias, which is now a tropical storm, hits Stony Creek. And I'm speaking with Chuck, who actually lives in Stony Creek. This is quite a scene, isn't it, Chuck?
Yeah, we've been here for about 10 years, living just on the outskirts of Stony Creek. Been through several storms, when I was about 8 years old, Hurricane Gloria, when I was in New Haven, Irene, Sandy, and they're just interesting to watch. As
far as Hurricane Sandy, Chuck, what the weather experts state is that this is supposed to be the worst storm, since Superstorm Sandy.
We'll see what happens. Like I said, the early stages, I believe, and you just take it from there, see what happens.
Yeah. At this point, though, things look pretty good, right? This is the high tide around 2 o'clock on August 4th, and, even though the water level is rolling, it's not up right, like super high, right?
Correct. I remember, like Sandy and Irene, the water was into the creekers' deli and ice chests were floating down the street. So far, knock on wood, we're doing okay.
Yeah, that's true.
But then again, it's the early stages, so let's see what happens and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it's been great speaking with you, Chuck. Thank you very much for your comments about the creek, All right, so right now right now around the town with Henry and Frank, we're just about to leave Stony Creek, and we're going to show you the scene right now during the tropical storm from Indian Neck. So stay with us around the town of Branford. Henry and Frank continues. Okay, we're still here in Stony Creek, and then we're off to Indian Neck, but I'm speaking with Mr. Fitzgerald. He's the community service officer. Sir, at this point, this storm, it's a tropical storm. It's just beginning, and would you tell us as to the forecast that you've heard?
That the storm was going to last until around midnight tonight.
Oh, really?
Right. And that the majority of the storm is going to be west of Branford.
Oh, well, that's good to hear, right?
Yes.
That's good because there's still a lot of boats moored here in Stony Creek, right? Which are at risk, right?
I have nothing to do with the boats.
Right, of course, yeah.
That's up to the boat owners.
That's right. Okay, Mr. Fitzgerald, thanks a lot. And what's your name, sir?
Brendan.
Great to talk to you, Brendan. And I just wanted to get, your, I mean, like, if you look out to the waterfront, You can see the waves, the white caps, the water's rolling. Now it's high tide right now.
Yep.
But it's a good thing this is a storm instead of a hurricane, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Hurricanes are no fun. And it's also good that the tide's going down. Out in the Sound, when the wind and the waves fight each other, makes them real big. But in here, it's a little bit better protected and everything. So as long as you got good ground tackle on your mooring and all your chains real strong, nothing's going to happen. And your boat will be fine. As long if you have a wooden stake, it's nice and deep in the ground, it'll be all good. And this will blow over, and you'll be just fine back to normal tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, that's good, Brendan, right? That's all good to hear, because, things could be worse. If this was a hurricane, it could be, severe damage, as we've seen before recently.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the story right now down here in Stony Creek. I'm speaking with Brendan and Mr. Fitzgerald, the community service officer, and right now I'm going up to Indian Neck with Henry. We're going to see what's going on up there during Tropical Storm Isaias. Stay with us. Okay, we're here on Stony Creek Road as we go towards Indian Neck. You can hear the roar of the winds, and this is a fairly mature, large tree that's come down across this driveway here at number 48 Stony Creek Road. And it's also on top of a trailer there. I hope that the property owner, I hope that they didn't lose their trailer, but who knows? This is a tropical storm. It was a hurricane, so, things happen like that in, big storms. Now, we've been told that 3 Branford fire trucks are all congregated down on Indian Neck Avenue. I guess there's a tree down over there. So we're just about to check that out for you, so stay with us. It's Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank. Okay, we're on the way to Indian Neck on State Route 146. Here's a Branford police car, number 26. And there's a tree across the state highway, as you can see, but you can just barely get around it, as that Branford police car just did. So it could be worse, but as you can see, there are effects from this tropical storm, right? It's not a hurricane, which would be a lot worse, but there are still some trees down, and it's a high tide right now, so that could make things worse. So anyway, right now, around the town of Branford with Henry and Frank, we're on the way to Indian Neck to check that part of town out. Okay, it's about 2:45 p.m. now on Tuesday, August 4th. This is Tropical Storm Isaias. It was a hurricane, but now it's been downgraded to tropical storm. You're seeing a huge pine tree, the roots just pushed over by the winds. You can see the trunk is cracked, and it landed on top of the owner's SUV in there. This is right at the intersection of Totoket and Pine Orchard Road here in Pine Orchard. So the winds are picking up too. This is really, it feels like a hurricane. You're standing in winds that are very strong. The winds today are predicted to be around 30 to 40 miles an hour during this tropical storm, but there's supposed to be gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour. It feels like they're pretty strong right now. Everybody's driving, really cautiously and very slowly, because who knows? You may be driving along and a tree might be pushed over onto your vehicle as you're driving by. So anyway, we're on the way to Indian Neck. As we said before, there was 3 Branford fire trucks all dispatched to some tree that came down on Indian Neck Avenue. So we're going to check that out for you. So stay with us. All right, welcome back to our coverage of Tropical Storm Isaias. Right now it's about 2:50 in the afternoon on Tuesday, August 4th. And I'm out here on Haycock Point with Henry. And you can see the water is really kicked up from the winds. There aren't many raindrops, though. It's mostly wind, at least at this point during the storm. You can see the They have a swim platform set up out there. It's rocking and rolling. There's a ring out there, a nice yellow ring they use for swimming. You can see the water and the storm surge right onto the lawns there. It's really roaring here. The winds are really, kicking it up. It's probably at least 50 miles an hour right now. It's a good thing this is not a hurricane. I mean, believe me, this is enough right now. So all the water coming over that beautiful dam over there and everything. So anyway, this is the situation right now at Haycock Point. So we're on the way to India next. Stay with us. Around the Town of Branford continues during Tropical Storm Isaias. Okay, we're out here at Branford Point, and we can see one boat is already submerged due to the storm, Tropical Storm Isaias. The wind is still very strong, but the good thing is, right, there's no rain, at least not at the moment. And it could be much, much worse if this was a hurricane. It was downgraded to a tropical storm. In all our travels around town this afternoon, there hasn't been any water across any roads. And there are trees down, but again, it's not that bad. It could be much worse. So we're really very lucky here in Branford today, so far anyway, that this, as you can see, as we look out here on the harbor at Branford Point, you can see how the tide is still very high. There's a lot of people down here, right? They're having a good time as they stand and feel the wind, the roar of the wind as it comes into town. Right now, the winds are probably blowing at 35, 40, 45 miles an hour. It's supposed to be some gusts as high as 60. This is a strong gust that we're getting right now. Okay, so right now we're going to head over to the Branford community house, the Joe Trapasso Community House. They put up the flood protection there, and we're going to check that out next. Stay with us. Okay, we're about to wrap our coverage for you today of Tropical Storm Isaias. We're right here at the Joe Trapasso Community House. You see that the flood planks have been raised to protect the building from any potential flooding. All the doors are now protected, and also the office over there where the tinted glass has also been protected, as well as the doors to the Joe Trapasso gym. The planks have been raised. So if there was going to be any flooding here on Hammerfield and at the Joe Trapasso community house, it would be stopped by the flood planks. So it's been great to cover this storm for you. Hopefully the end is near and there won't be much more damage. The worst damage we did see today was on a big tree fell across Maple Street, and power was stopped because of that fallen tree in that area. Hopefully that's the worst that we're going to see in Branford. As you can see right now, there's blue sky up above, and hopefully the worst of this storm is over. It was only a tropical storm. It was not a hurricane. It could have been much worse, so we're thankful for that. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back. We're giving you an update on Storm Isaias. Today is Thursday, August 6th. We're going to show you some of the storm damage that occurred in the town of Branford. Right now you're looking at a gigantic crane trying to lift a portion of the tree that fell on that house so tragically. The people were inside when it happened, in their bedroom, but there were no injuries. And you can see right now the roof up there, and part of the front wall is just caving in, coming right down. So there's a huge crane here, along with a stump grinder, and they're trying to clean it up, clear it off as best they can. This is one of the worst impacts of Tropical Storm Isaias that we've seen in Branford so far. The town of Branford is basically still without power. There is power in parts of town. Short Beach has power. The Main Street area of downtown Branford has power. The power we heard was shut off in places in town as well because there's so many loose wires. There's a lot of roads that are closed off because of loose dangling wires. The good thing about the storm, though, was there was supposed to be 4 inches of rain predicted, and I don't believe we got any rain whatsoever. If all the earth had been drenched with water and then the high 30 to 40 mile an hour winds had hit, we would have lost a lot more trees, a lot more damage would have occurred. So right now, Henry and I are going to take you around the town of Branford and show you more storm damage from Tropical Storm Isaias. Stay with us. Okay, we're bringing you the aftermath of Tropical Storm Isaias. Right now we're at the intersection of Damascus Road and Windmill Hill. You're seeing a very large tree that's come down and has knocked over some of the very thick black utility lines, and that's one of the reasons why power is out here in parts of the town of Branford. It's actually extended into the street. Traffic has to go around it. And then there's another tree right across the street there. And you can see the gigantic stump. This is a huge tree, a very thick trunk, indicating that probably the tree is at least, like 100 years old or so. Also, one correction, the Tropical Storm Isaias hit Branford on Tuesday, not on the 3rd. It was hit on the 4th, Tuesday the 4th, and that's what all this damage is from. So right now, Henry and I are going to continue on our tour around the town of Branford to show you the storm aftermath. Stay with us. Around the town of Branford with Henry and Frank continues. We're here at the Pine Orchard Country Club Golf Course on Totoket Road and 146, right by the train bridge. And you can see a huge tree, big root was blown over. Cars can get around it, as you can see. There's a lot of wires that the tree brought down, and they're actually lying on the ground. You can see some of the wires right now, these transformers. People have been looking forward to getting their power back, but right now, Thursday afternoon, we still haven't seen any trucks in town yet. They must be working in some other part of the state. So hopefully they'll be here soon. So right now, I don't think there was much damage down here in Pine Orchard. Just the only problem now is that they still have lost power. So right now we're going to continue our trip around the town of Branford, showing you the aftermath of Tropical Storm Isaias. Stay with us. Our program continues. I'm standing here in Pine Orchard in Triangle Park, right between Pine Orchard Road and also Pine Orchard and Elizabeth Street. This is a park that's been fixed up by I believe Branford Public Works and also the Pine Orchard Association. This is a very old and large hemlock. You see it's been split by the wind and it's toppled over. A very old tree as well. It's too bad that we lost one, but there's a grove here still, so it could have been worse. And just like I said earlier, if we had gotten that 4 inches of rain that was anticipated, all the ground would have been really wet, and I'm sure we would have lost more trees in Branford than we did. So that's the story here in Pine Orchard at Triangle Park. Now we're going to go back on the road and check out more storm update for you on Tropical Storm Isaias. Stay with us. Okay, we're down in Indian Neck on Bayberry Lane right here in Pawson Park. And as you can see, there's a yellow police line do not cross tape across the road. And shortly thereafter, you can see a large tree across the road that landed on the roof of that gray house. Very unfortunate. And so traffic cannot go through here at this time. A good thing that Henry and I did just see are some trucks working on the lines in Branford. So there is activity today, 2 days later after the a tropical storm. You can see some branches there that are on the ground. There was a lot of limbs that were ripped off by the high winds, 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts, and there were some that were even about 50 miles an hour. And as I said before, this storm could have done a lot more damage in Branford if there had been rain. Instead, the track of the storm went up the Hudson River instead of coming out, this way. I understand that some homes, some towns on the Hudson got like 4 inches of rain all in 1 hour. So that's where the storm went. So that's good for Branford. Okay, stay with us. We're continuing our tour of the town of Branford, Tropical Storm Isaias update, right here on Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank. Stay with us. Okay, this is our last stop as we survey for you the aftermath of Tropical Storm Isaias. We're right across the street from the Indian Neck School, the Early Years Center, and this house has been damaged, but it doesn't look that bad. There was a huge tree there. You can see the roots that came all the way up to the street. They've all been pushed over by the wind. They've dragged with them all the power lines on this street. You can see they're on the ground there. The house's driveway is also blocked by the downed power lines, and they can't even drive out of their own driveway until the lines get put back up. So it was a lot of damage. It was bad here in the town of Branford, but it could have been much worse. You have to count your blessings. And it's been great to be with you. We've been going all around the town. We started at the height of the storm on Tuesday, the 4th, as Tropical Storm Isaias hit the town of Branford. We went down to Haycock Point, showed you the water. It was rolling in at high tide. It was really spectacular video. And right now we've been showing you the aftermath all over the town. So until next time, it's been great to be with you. I'm Frank Toohill for Henry Pond, and we'll be back again for more programs around the town of Branford with Henry and Frank. Until next time, goodbye.